A massive symbol carved into a Peruvian mountain can be seen from the sea, yet an ancient Sanskrit text describes it thousands of years earlier. In our previous episode on Sugriva's Atlas, we introduced a deeply unsettling idea that the Ramayana may preserve a memory of the world as it existed nearly 14,000 years ago, not as myth, not as metaphor, but as geography. That video was a wide-angle overview. This episode is different. Here, we slow down and follow just one direction in detail, the eastward expedition described by Sugriva, because even on its own, this single route carries implications strong enough to challenge how ancient history is normally understood. The scene unfolds after the rainy season has passed. Sugriva gathers the Vanaras, divides them into 4 groups, and assigns each group a cardinal direction. For the eastward search, he appoints a leader named Vinata and begins issuing instructions. What follows does not read like storytelling, it reads like navigation. Sugriva does not speak in abstractions or symbolism. He names seas, islands, mountains, peoples, and landmarks, extending far beyond the borders of India and far beyond what most would expect an ancient epic to describe. To understand why this matters, the map itself must be reset. If the Ramayana belongs to the 13th millennium BCE, as argued using hundreds of astronomical references, then the Earth looked very different from today. Sea levels were far lower, more than 100 meters below present levels. Vast continental shelves were exposed. Many regions now underwater were dry land. Southeast Asia was not fragmented into scattered islands as it is today. India extended deeper into the Sunda region. Indonesia formed long, connected landmasses. The world was more continuous, more navigable, and far more connected than modern coastlines suggest. When Sugriva sends the eastern party forward, he does not simply say, "Go east." He describes what exists along the way. He speaks of crossing seas, passing cities and mountains, and encountering different kinds of people. This is where many readers historically disengage, because the descriptions feel strange and exaggerated. Sugriva speaks of people with long ears, elongated lips, unusual facial features, and unfamiliar customs. These verses are often dismissed as fantasy, but when examined through anthropology, they begin to look less mythical and more observational. Across Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Melanesia, Africa, and South America, body modification practices have existed for thousands of years. Elongated earlobes, stretched lips, lip plates, neck rings, and dramatic facial adornments are not inventions of folklore. They are real cultural practices that still exist today. An ancient traveler encountering such groups without modern vocabulary would describe them exactly as Sugriva does. What later generations labeled as monsters may have originally been attempts to describe unfamiliar human societies encountered far from home. Sugriva then names islands not arbitrarily, but by what they produce. He speaks of islands associated with gold, silver, and grain. This is not poetic ornamentation. It is practical geography. Before maps and coordinates, places were remembered by resources. Trade routes were mental maps built around what could be found where. Remarkably, this naming logic survives in Southeast Asia even today, where the concept of Dwipa, meaning island, remains embedded in regional identity and symbolism. This suggests continuity of geographic memory rather than coincidence. The eastward route then moves across the Great Ocean, referred to as the Kshira Sagara. Today, the Pacific feels like an insurmountable barrier, but in a world of lower sea levels, dotted with islands and extended land bridges, it becomes a navigable expanse. It is here that Sugriva introduces a striking detail. He warns of terrifying beings hanging from cliffs, described as fearsome and dangerous. At first glance, this seems like mythology, but geographically, the description becomes very specific. Across most of the world, bats are largely insect-eating or fruit-eating creatures, but in one region alone, they take on a different role. In South America, vampire bats exist. They cling to rock faces, emerge from caves, and feed on blood. To an ancient observer, such creatures would be terrifying and unforgettable. Sugriva's description aligns not with a generic animal, but with a phenomenon unique to the far side of the Pacific. Then the route reaches its most extraordinary point. On the southern coast of Peru, near the Paracas region, a colossal geoglyph is carved into a mountainside. It is hundreds of feet tall, carved deep into the earth and designed to be visible from far out at sea. Sailors can see it long before they reach land. Archaeologists still debate its purpose. Local traditions offer no clear origin. Even the people living there at the time of European contact said it predated their ancestors. Sugriva's description, preserved in Sanskrit, speaks of a trident-shaped marker, three-pronged and radiant, established on a mountain with a defined base resembling a ritual platform. It is described as a marker of direction, specifically the eastern direction, a signal for those traveling by sea. Beyond it lie the Udaya Parvata, the mountains of sunrise, the Andes. This alignment is not vague. The scale, placement, visibility, and function correspond with uncanny precision. The structure is not described as a temple, a city, or a dwelling. It is described as a sign, a landmark, a geographic signal placed at the edge of the known world. At this point, an obvious objection arises. The Vanaras had limited time. They could not have physically reached South America during their search. But this misunderstands the nature of Sugriva's instructions. He is not issuing a literal travel itinerary. He is outlining the structure of the world. He is describing what exists in each direction, even beyond the immediate reach of the search parties. Just as a commander might describe terrain far beyond the front lines, Sugriva is providing geographic context, not marching orders. The Ramayana itself anticipates the deeper question. Rama asks Sugriva how he knows all this. Sugriva replies that during his exile, after being removed from power, he traveled extensively and explored the world, even claiming to have circled it multiple times. Whether taken literally or cautiously, the text presents this knowledge as experiential, not symbolic and not divinely revealed. This is the heart of the eastward expedition. It behaves like a map, not a mythological cosmology, not poetic imagination, but a sequence of terrains, peoples, resources, animals, oceans, and landmarks that align closely with a world reconstructed by modern geology, archaeology, and anthropology. If this alignment appeared in only one or two places, it could be dismissed as coincidence, but the chain is continuous. India to Southeast Asia, island realms defined by resources, a vast ocean crossing, a unique animal signature, a monumental trident visible from the sea, and finally, a mountain range rising at the far edge of the world. The eastward expedition does not demand blind belief, it demands examination. Because once an ancient story starts behaving like geography, the question is no longer whether the ancients imagined the world, but how much of it they already knew. If you found this journey fascinating, subscribe to Awakened Epochs for more.